It is unfortunately common for unlicensed individuals to advertise themselves as electrical contractors. This occurs despite them not having the necessary qualifications or licenses. This can be a frustrating issue for licensed contractors who have spent the time and effort obtaining the proper credentials. Here are some reasons why unlicensed contractors might advertise themselves. Firstly, some have a lack of awareness of the licensing requirements. Secondly, some just desire to make a quick profit. Thirdly, some are simply unwilling to invest in the time and cost of obtaining a license. Fourthly, some may have a misguided belief that they have sufficient skills and experience to perform electrical work without a license. There are serious consequences to hiring unlicensed contractors. Firstly, you risk substandard or dangerous electrical work. Secondly, there is an increased risk of electrical fires or accidents. Thirdly, insurance claims can be invalidated if work is performed by unlicensed individuals. Fourthly, there can be legal penalties for both the unlicensed contractor and the homeowner who knowingly hires them. Here's what you can do to combat this issue. Firstly, educate consumers about the importance of hiring licensed contractors. Make sure homeowners and businesses understand the risks associated with unlicensed electrical work and the benefits of using qualified professionals. Secondly, report unlicensed contractors to your local licensing authority or building inspector. Provide them with any evidence you have, such as advertisements or business cards. Thirdly, promote licensed contractors by highlighting the benefits of hiring qualified professionals and encourage consumers to seek them out. Fourthly, collaborate with other licensed contractors in your area to advocate for higher standards and crack down on unlicensed activity. Most states have laws that prohibit unlicensed individuals from advertising or performing electrical work. These laws can vary in severity, but they often include penalties such as fines or even imprisonment. It is crucial that licensing authorities and building inspectors enforce these laws to deter unlicensed contractors and protect the public. By holding these individuals accountable, you can help ensure a fair and safe environment for licensed contractors and consumers alike. For example, let's say a homeowner hires an unlicensed contractor to rewire their kitchen. The contractor uses substandard materials and makes several incorrect connections. This results in overloaded circuits, exposed wires, and a significant risk of electrical fire. If a fire were to occur, the homeowner's insurance company could deny their claim because the work was performed by an unlicensed individual. Additionally, a homeowner could face legal penalties for hiring an unlicensed contractor. On the other hand, if the homeowner had hired a licensed electrician, the work would have been performed to code with proper permits and inspections. This would have ensured the safety of the home and protected the homeowner from potential liabilities. Consider a scenario where an unlicensed contractor is hired to install a new electrical panel in a commercial building. The contractor fails to properly ground the panel, creating a shock hazard. An employee touches the panel and receives a severe electrical shock, resulting in serious injuries. The business owner could be held liable for negligence because they hired an unlicensed contractor to perform the work. Furthermore, the unlicensed contractor could face criminal charges for performing electrical work without a license and causing bodily harm. However, if a licensed electrical contractor had been hired, they would have ensured that the panel was properly grounded and installed according to code. This would have prevented the accident and protected the business owner from potential liability. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, sets the standard for safe electrical installations. Licensed electricians are trained to understand and comply with the NEC. Unlicensed individuals may not be familiar with the code and may make mistakes that can have serious consequences. For example, NEC Section 210.52 addresses receptacle outlet placement in dwelling units. An unlicensed person might not know these requirements, leading to improperly placed outlets and potential hazards. Similarly, NEC Section 310.15 covers ampacity of conductors. A licensed electrician knows how to calculate the correct wire size for a given load, while an unlicensed person may use undersized wires, which can overheat and cause a fire. Enforcement of licensing laws is essential to protecting the public from the dangers of unlicensed electrical work. Licensing authorities and building inspectors play a crucial role in identifying and penalizing unlicensed individuals. This can include issuing fines, suspending or revoking licenses, and even pursuing criminal charges. Strong enforcement sends a clear message that unlicensed electrical work will not be tolerated. Consider a situation where a licensed electrician reports an unlicensed individual to the licensing authority. The authority investigates the complaint and finds that the individual has been advertising and performing electrical work without a license. The authority issues a cease and desist order, imposes a fine, and requires the individual to complete a licensing program before they can legally perform electrical work. This action protects consumers from potential harm and ensures that only qualified professionals are allowed to perform electrical work. Electrical work is inherently dangerous and should only be performed by qualified professionals. Licensed electricians have the training, experience, and knowledge to perform electrical work safely and according to code. Hiring an unlicensed individual can put your home, your family, and your business at risk. When hiring an electrician, always ask to see their license and check with the licensee authority to verify that it is valid. A valid license demonstrates that the electrician has met the necessary qualifications and is authorized to perform electrical work in your area. In addition to verifying the electrician's license, you should also check their insurance coverage. A licensed electrician should have liability insurance to protect you in case of accidents or damages. You can ask the electrician to provide a certificate of insurance or contact their insurance company directly to verify coverage. Another important step is to obtain multiple bids from licensed electricians before making a decision. This will allow you to compare prices and services and choose the electrician who best meets your needs. Be wary of bids that are significantly lower than others, as this could be a sign of substandard work or unlicensed activity. Finally, always get a written contract that clearly outlines the scope of work, materials, and price. This will protect you in case of disputes or problems with the work. The contract should also include the electrician's license number, insurance information, and contact information. Let's discuss some specific examples of electrical code violations that could occur when unlicensed individuals perform electrical work. Firstly, improper grounding is a common problem. The NEC requires that all electrical systems be properly grounded to protect against electrical shock. Unlicensed individuals may not understand the importance of grounding and may fail to properly connect grounding wires or use the wrong type of grounding electrode. Secondly, another frequent issue is using the wrong size wire. The NEC specifies the minimum wire size for different circuits based on the ampacity of the circuit breaker or fuse. Unlicensed individuals may use undersized wires, which can overheat and cause a fire. Thirdly, improper wiring connections are common. Electrical connections must be made properly to ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. Unlicensed individuals may make loose or incorrect connections, which can lead to arcing, overheating, and electrical fires. Fourthly, failure to install ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, in wet locations is common. The NEC requires that GFCIs be installed in bathrooms, kitchens, and other wet locations to protect against electrical shock. Unlicensed individuals may not be aware of this requirement and may fail to install GFCIs, putting occupants at risk. Fifthly, overloading circuits is another frequent mistake. Each circuit in an electrical system is designed to handle a certain amount of current. Unlicensed individuals may overload circuits by plugging in too many appliances or using the wrong size circuit breaker, which can lead to overheating and electrical fires. Licensed electricians are trained to identify and avoid these common code violations. They have the knowledge and experience to perform electrical work safely and according to code. Let's also talk about the economic impact of unlicensed electrical work. Unlicensed contractors often undercut the prices of licensed contractors because they don't have the same overhead costs such as licensing fees, insurance premiums, and training expenses. This can create an unfair playing field for licensed contractors who are trying to run legitimate businesses. Additionally, unlicensed electrical work can lead to lower property values. If a home or business has substandard or dangerous electrical work, it can reduce its market value. Potential buyers may be hesitant to purchase a property with electrical problems, or they may demand a lower price to compensate for the cost of repairs. Furthermore, unlicensed electrical work can harm the reputation of the electrical industry. When consumers have negative experiences with unlicensed contractors, it can damage their trust in all electricians, including those who are licensed and qualified. Licensed contractors have a vested interest in maintaining high standards and protecting the reputation of the industry. Therefore, it is important for licensed contractors to take an active role in combating unlicensed electrical work. This can include reporting unlicensed individuals to the licensing authority, educating consumers about the dangers of unlicensed electrical work, and supporting efforts to strengthen enforcement of licensing laws. By working together, licensed contractors can help create a fair and safe environment for themselves and their customers. Consider the case of a licensed electrical contractor who loses a bid to an unlicensed individual. The licensed contractor has spent years training and building their business, but they are unable to compete with the lower prices offered by the unlicensed contractor. This can be frustrating and discouraging, and it can make it difficult for the licensed contractor to earn a living. However, by focusing on quality, safety, and customer service, licensed contractors can differentiate themselves from unlicensed individuals and attract customers who are willing to pay for professional work. It is important to remember that price is not the only factor to consider when hiring an electrician. Quality, safety, and reliability are also important considerations. Consumers should be willing to pay a fair price for professional electrical work that is performed safely and according to code. In addition to the points mentioned earlier, it is also worth noting that unlicensed electrical work can have a negative impact on the local economy. When unlicensed contractors operate without paying taxes or insurance, it reduces the amount of revenue available for public services such as schools, roads, and emergency services. This can ultimately lead to higher taxes for everyone else. Furthermore, unlicensed electrical work can create a dangerous and unfair environment for workers. Unlicensed contractors may not provide their employees with proper training, safety equipment, or workers' compensation insurance. This can put workers at risk of injury or death. Licensed electrical contractors are required to provide their employees with a safe and healthy work environment. They must also comply with all applicable labor laws and regulations.